On June 24, a dramatic event unfolded on the Dnipro River. In a bold nighttime operation, the Ukrainian Navy ambushed a Russian landing craft, striking a major blow to Russia's Black Sea Fleet. The Ministry of Defense of Ukraine released thermal footage showing powerful explosions hitting the vessel as the Russian crew rushed to escape. The video includes several angles, possibly captured by drones, revealing the exact moment of impact as flames and smoke engulfed the ship. You might be wondering how the Ukrainian Navy managed to strike and disable the Russian landing craft. According to available information, they used a Bayraktar TB2 attack drone. Built in Turkey, the Bayraktar TB2 was a key factor in Ukraine's early battlefield successes. However, as Russian forces have since strengthened their air defenses, its role has become more limited, according to Ukrainian military officials. Still, Ukraine has brought the Bayraktar TB2 back into action, with recent footage showing it successfully targeting a Russian landing craft moving through the Kherson region. It's important to note that the Ukrainian Navy claims to have sunk a total of 28 Russian warships and boats, plus one submarine, since Moscow launched its full-scale invasion on February 24, 2022. Each Russian vessel destroyed is seen as a major Ukrainian achievement, especially since the 2014 annexation of Crimea effectively crippled Ukraine's naval forces, stripping them of most of their large warships and submarines. In recent years, Ukraine's naval strategy has shifted toward using unmanned systems to compensate for its lack of large vessels. These efforts have seen some success, inflicting serious damage on Russia's Black Sea Fleet. The most notable blow came in April 2022, when Ukraine sank the fleet's flagship, the cruiser Moskva. The Russian Black Sea Fleet has suffered heavy losses since Moscow's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022, with nearly half of its warships either damaged or destroyed. This outcome has largely been driven by Ukraine's successful use of asymmetric tactics, especially unmanned maritime systems and anti-ship missiles, which have severely disrupted Russian naval operations. Despite these setbacks, the Russian fleet has remained capable of launching major strikes. One example occurred on August 26, 2024, when Russia launched a massive wave of missiles and drones targeting critical infrastructure across Ukraine. According to Ukrainian officials, it was the largest air assault of the war. The attack involved various weapon types, including 28 caliber cruise missiles launched from surface vessels and submarines in the eastern Black Sea. Russia's ability to carry out such large-scale attacks proves the Black Sea Fleet is still operational, even after significant losses. However, Ukraine claims to have sunk, damaged, or destroyed at least one-third of the fleet since the start of the war. Considering Kyiv began the war with almost no viable navy, that figure represents an extraordinary achievement. As we have mentioned repeatedly, since the outbreak of the war in Ukraine, the Russian Navy has suffered significant losses in the Black Sea, including several of its major surface vessels. The failure to maintain control against attacks by Ukraine's unmanned surface vehicles and cruise missiles highlights the challenges the Russian Navy faces in fulfilling the Kremlin's ambitions. However, it would be wrong to assume that the Russian Navy no longer poses a serious threat to NATO, particularly in the Pacific, the Mediterranean, and the High North. Since the outbreak of the full-scale war in early 2022, the Russian Navy's Black Sea Fleet has struggled to support its forces deployed on land. Through the effective use of USVs to conduct surprise and kamikaze-style attacks, Ukraine has succeeded in inflicting significant material damage on its adversary. For instance, the loss of the cruiser Moskva to Neptune missiles in April 2022 marked a pivotal moment for the Russian Navy and a key milestone in its gradual decline as a naval power. Losses suffered by the Russian Navy are not unusual when compared to Russia's broader military setbacks, just like its heavy casualties in troops, armored vehicles, and aircraft. For example, according to Ukraine's Ministry of Defense, Russia has now lost more than 20,000 armored vehicles since it began its unprovoked invasion of Ukraine 3 years ago. These figures reflect a severe decline in Russia's overall ground capabilities. When it comes to manpower, the losses are even more staggering. As of June 12, 2025, the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine reported that Russia has suffered over 1 million personnel losses in Ukraine. While the Ukrainian figures do not specify how many were killed or wounded, most assessments suggest that the number includes those killed in action, wounded, missing, or captured. Ukraine's top commander, Oleksandr Syrsky, stated on December 30 that 427,000 of those losses occurred in 2024 alone, with record-breaking casualty rates in November and December as Russia intensified its offensive in Donetsk Oblast. It is worth noting that official estimates may vary. A potentially more reliable count comes from an ongoing research project by the independent Russian outlet Mediazona, working in collaboration with BBC Russia. Based on open-source data, they had confirmed the names of 111,387 Russian soldiers killed during the full-scale invasion as of June 6, 2025. While this number is more conservative, it still paints a grim picture of the cost Russia continues to pay on the battlefield. After more than 3 years of full-scale war, one fact is undeniable. Russia is bleeding resources, hardware, and lives at a pace it cannot sustain. Its once feared military machine is now exposed, vulnerable not only to modern Western weapons, but also to Ukraine's relentless innovation and tactical superiority. From the Black Sea to the skies over Donetsk, Ukraine has proven that even with fewer resources, determination, and smart strategy can turn the tide. Every destroyed warship, every downed fighter jet, and every retreating armored column tells the story of a military giant slowly losing its grip. Russia's naval fleet, once dominant in the Black Sea, has been crippled by unmanned drones. Its elite fighter jets, including the Su-35, now fall victim to Ukrainian air defense and possibly to newly arrived Western F-16. Even its strategic bombers, once considered safe deep inside Russian territory, are no longer beyond reach. Ukraine now strikes with precision, using advanced intelligence and long-range drone warfare. In the end, this war is no longer just about controlling land. It is about national survival, military credibility, and the future of warfare itself. Russia's outdated doctrine is crumbling. Meanwhile, Ukraine's technological edge and international partnerships are transforming the battlefield. As the world watches closely, it is clear that this war is not only redrawing the map, but also reshaping the rules of 21st century conflict.